So at this point, I'm ready to begin coloring. I have two versions here, and I'm really working with black, white, and grays to figure out my values. This is nice to do because then when you plug in your colors, you kind of understand how you're going to color it. And I have two versions, one where the floor is lighter and one where the floor is darker with a lighter line on top. And really zoom out here, Command or Control minus, to about there. Remember, these are supposed to be designs for your phone. Stickers, graphics for your phone, so they're going to come up super tiny in your phone. So if you can just zoom out while you're working, it's going to help you figure out your graphics. So I can kind of decide between these two. I think this one is more readable, the floor, but this one, the floor feels a little more weighted. All right, let's talk about the color palettes. We need to use specific color schemes here. You can choose between one of these 5 color schemes. Monochromatic, which is one color, and then using tints and shades of that one color. Complementary, which are colors across from each other on the color wheel. Split complementary, meaning you're taking one color going across and you're not choosing that, you're choosing the two next to it. Triadic, 3 colors evenly spaced, or you can use black and white and then use 3 other colors. So a nice way to add color into something that is black and white or is limited color is to just keep using your black and white, and then what would I want to make in color here. So maybe I want to keep everything black and white, but I want to make this mask in color and the iron in color, and that could be one way to just bring a little color. Maybe it will work better with this image, and maybe I want to make the beak a color and the feet a color. That might be a really simple, nice way to bring in color, and I could use so black, white, and then 3 other colors. So maybe I want orange here and there. Try to, if you do use limited color, try to have that same color in more than one area. So maybe orange, maybe yellow, and then red, just so that, I've got some analogous going on. Try to make the colors a little intentional. That could look great. So you're choosing one of these 5 ways to color. Let's talk about building your color palette in your swatches. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to pick Monochromatic, and we're going to talk about how to begin coloring. You want to bring your swatches up, which is in Window and Swatches right here. And then if there's stuff in there, for instance, this tab, I could click on the folder. I could also just, and then delete that. And I could also click on one, press Shift and click to select more, and then delete that way. And I probably want to get the folder too. Okay, so whatever's in there, just delete it all out so that you're left with nothing, and then you can start adding more stuff in. Let's go to Window, Color Guide, which is here. So when you're using monochromatic, you want to start with one color that you know is going to be like a main color in your color scheme. You're going to put it in the fill box. So I'm going to double click on the fill box, and I am picking a blue. This is H, stands for hue, and you could kind of, if you're using red for your example, you can, move that around, but we're using blue, so I'll say okay. This is the color, so the color in the fill box is the one that the color guide is using. Muted and vivid. If I go to this menu here, I can change that. So I could change it from tints and shades or muted and vivid. I think you should stick to tints and shades. Don't do warms and cools because we want to stay monochromatic, and so we don't want to get into any reds or anything like that here. So I'm just going to put tints and shades for monochromatic. Now I'm going to start building my color palette, and it's a good idea to build your color palette as you're actually coloring. So if I want some of these colors, say I like this line, so I'm going to click here, press Shift, click to select multiple, and if I want to bring those into my library, I can click on this button, which means Save Color Group to Swatch Panel. And now I have a new folder with all of those colors in it, and I can start to use them for coloring. And maybe I want these darker tones there, and I'm going to put those into a group. Okay, so now I have some dark blues and some lighter blues. In the end, you want to only have 5 colors maximum. So I'm going to start coloring now that I have a bunch of blues to color with. And I'm changing the fill, right? So I'm going to select what I want to change, and I could see, how does that look? Okay, maybe that looks nice. And you need to, the thing with color is that you need to change, if I just change one thing, it's gonna look different against different colors, so it's a good idea to start, okay, this is gray, so I need like maybe a medium gray. You need to, this blue, it's going to look different according to what's next to it. This object is a lighter blue, so I might want to choose some of these. And maybe I want to use this color again in something else, which is a good idea. So it looks like I'm kind of using this light blue, so I'm going to bring it down to my, this is my folder that has the colors that the 5 that I'm actually sticking to, and everything else is just, I'm using it to kind of figure out like a library. So maybe this mid-tone that's a little desaturated, maybe I want to use that somewhere else just to keep it consistent, but I can't, right, because it like blends into that. So this actually has to be a darker value. And then if you click off of it, then you could see a little better like what it looks like. So in this case, maybe this needs to be not so dark, so you can start coloring and then just zoom out. I suggest to zoom out every so often just so you can kind of tell how it's going to look small. So I'm just going to go through and try to select the colors I want. Don't use a million colors, and then put whatever colors that you are using together in one folder. And you should only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. So say I'm happy with these. What could I simplify here? This and this are very similar. Do I want to use, this has to be dark, right? Do I want to use the same color, or do I want it to be more different? So that's something you can kind of play with. say I want to alter this, I could double click in here. I could go to brightness. And what does this look like? Saturation. What does it look like if it's a little lighter, right? Now it's a little, it might feel a little different between the two, and then I can zoom out. Okay, so say I like this color, I want to add that in, and I have to press this button, new swatch. I'll say okay. It's going to show up here, but we need to bring it down into there. So I need to figure out which color I'm not using. So I think that this one is this, and then I'm not using this one, so I need to click delete, say yes. So this is my monochromatic color palette. This color is in the penguin. This color is in the ironing board, desaturated blue. I have this is a little more colorful here, but it's not, it's like a light blue. The ironing board is very, very light blue, and then this color may not actually be being used anywhere. So I can delete the one that I'm not using, or I might want to figure out which one. We could always do two versions. Let's select all of this, press Option or Alt on your keyboard to make a copy. Now let's take this one and see. I like it with the darker. So this ironing board that's darker looks better to me, which means that I don't need this color. So I'm going to select it, press on the trash can to delete it. Now we want to save these colors. I don't need these anymore, so I'm just going to delete them. To save this swatch, you need to click on the first color, or you could just select the whole folder there. Click on the folder. I'm going to go to the menu, and I'm going to say Save Swatch Library as ASE. I'm going to put my first name, my last name. This is Monochromatic, and these are my stickers, ASE. ASE, sounds good. It's going in my desktop so I know where it is, or in your class folder. Say save, say okay. So these are the colors that I would then use for all the other stickers. Monochromatic's a great way to just use limited color. It's like you're using black and white, but you're just plugging in a different, it's like blue and white, right? So I really recommend first working in black and white and then like switching over to the color scheme that you're going to be using.